need a crisis communications team. You need to be prepared for anything. And even if it doesn't happen in your backyard, it may be happening down the street. And that becomes then your crisis. And
it is very, very important. If your company or organization is active on social media, you need to have a social media policy. It needs to be guidelines and not restrictive because it's only going to hurt your brand. And you absolutely should have a social media crisis policy attached to that policy. Very, very important.
I mean, the lesson for all companies is if you have a critical vendor, and a lot of crises start this way. If you have a critical vendor for any service and you don't have a backup for that vendor, you can end up in a lot more trouble than you expect. And it doesn't matter whether it's a power supplier or a supplier of a key ingredient to something you make. Any kind of critical vendor you need to have backup for. And when I do vulnerability audits, again, that's often something that's missing.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words, and I advise my clients, before you get up to the podium, you should be already working on resolving the issue, whether it's a product recall or any other crisis.
And they're also not allowed to post any picture or comment or video of them with the actual Olympic symbols with them. So just the whole thing is backwards, and when you get too restrictive in a policy, a social media policy, like I said, the lines get blurred. But people get confused. It's not a clear, you're allowed to do this and you're not allowed to do this, or you should do this in this direction. It's not clear and simple like that. So people don't know where to draw those lines, and they don't know what's going to happen if they do.
Chief executive of any organization or effort should not allow all of his information to be filtered by other people, because they will sometimes not tell you what they don't want you to hear or what they think you don't want to hear. And you miss out on some critical information. I think possibly some of his gaffes in Europe came because people weren't giving him the information he needed to have.